NBA free agency starts in 10 days, so let's look at some final free agent targets the Sixers could possibly be going after. What is up, guys? DJ Eastwood here, running back home with the most brutally honest Philly sports takes on YouTube. Some people don't like it, but it's because some people don't like the truth. Hit the like button if you like the truth. Hit the dislike button if you like lying to yourself. And hit the subscribe button if you're new. I give you these podcast episodes every single day for free. I want my subscription. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I post a video or when I go live, because we're about to get the live streams all popping and cracking. Listen. Been a couple days. I've been busy doing all kinds of things. I'm rearranging things. I'm getting a whole new camera set up. I'm doing all kinds of things for this YouTube channel. It's growing. We're not stopping anytime soon. But listen, the NBA calendar just came out. All right, and we're packing a whole bunch of stuff in here. Really, in a small window. We're packing a whole bunch of stuff in a small window. November 18th, we have the NBA draft. November 20th, free agency starts at 6 p.m. November 22nd, free agent signings can begin at 12:01 p.m. December 1st, training camps open, and December 22nd is opening night. Oh my God, how are we going to do all that? How are we going to do all that in a month? How? I don't know. Godspeed, Daryl Morey, Doc Rivers, all you new guys that just got hired a month ago to take over the thing. I mean, they had to fly here, move all their stuff here. Not that they moved stuff. They paid a moving company. They had to move here, get all set up in the office, and then start making all these things happen within a month. This is just crazy. But the free agency is so close. And free agent signings will start in 12 days. You're going to start to hear rumblings here pretty soon. So I just wanted to go over some final targets that I think are very possible, or at least some of them are very possible. Some of them are a little bit of a stretch for the Sixers to pair with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and these guys to try to improve the roster before the season starts, because we all know we don't want to see what happened last year happen again this year. Let's get right into it, man. So the Sixers don't have much room to work with because of the cap space, because Elton Brand, if he was in charge, or Brett Brown, or whoever made the decisions last year, completely screwed them with cap space by handing out hundreds of millions of dollars to players that not only didn't deserve it, but players you didn't even need. Al Horford, $109 million to back up your center is just, I'll never get over it. One of the dumbest things I've ever seen an NBA or any sports organization do in general. Tobias Harris overpaid because of Jimmy Butler leaving, and it was a panic move. Listen, we don't have much cap space to work with, but it does seem like Josh Harris and company are willing to go into the luxury tax to fix these issues. I think they're seeing it, again, from strictly a business standpoint. They don't want to lose the fan base. They don't want to go back to the money they were making during the tanking years. They don't want the majority of the fan base to be pissed off. So they're going to try to fix the mistakes that they made. And they're probably going to say, hey, if we need to pay the luxury tax for the next 3 to 5, for the next 20 years to be massively profitable, we're going to do that. So I think they're going to be willing to pay a luxury tax so we can go over the cap a little bit. The first target I'm going to look at is Joe Harris, because Joe Harris, I'm sure 99% of you will agree with this, would be an absolute perfect fit on this Sixers team. A small forward, decent size, can move off the ball, can catch and shoot, led the NBA in three-point percentage last season on the Brooklyn Nets. With Kyrie and KD coming in, they might want to keep him around. That's a very good piece to have. But if he decides he doesn't want to play for those goofballs and he wants to leave, he's going to get paid. That's the thing about this. We don't have cap space. Joe Harris is going to get paid, probably overpaid, for his shooting services. Now, we don't know what the COVID-19 and what the NBA made last year or didn't make last year and what the salary cap is going to be, so we don't really have those numbers yet. But Joe Harris is going to get paid, all right? The Sixers, to afford him, we would have to pull off moving Al Horford, and we're running out of time. to move Al Horford. If we don't move Al Horford and that $109 million contract, I would say you can forget about Joe Harris. But if Daryl Morey pulls off some magic and moves that Al Horford contract, I would say Joe Harris would be the number one target as a free agent coming in here, catching passes from Ben Simmons, driving and kicking, and just shooting threes at 47% all year. It would be amazing. Most likely too good to be true. Sorry to throw that on you. Let's get to one that's a little bit more realistic. Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris played for the Knicks 2 years ago, played for the Clippers last season. He only played a couple games for the Clippers, I think 9 games. So that's not a really big enough sample size. With Kawhi and Paul George, Marcus Morris might feel like that team has a chance to battle the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals for years to come, and he might want to stay there and be a part of that. He's been in the league for 9 years. As far as if he doesn't want to stay there and he wants to leave because it's unrestricted, the Sixers could offer him a contract. He's a big defender. He's a shooter. He shot 44% from three with the Knicks. He's shooting 37% on his career. And he's a new age stretch four. That's what he is. He's the new power forward in the NBA. He's a very good shooter. He can handle the ball a little bit. You can watch his highlights. I'm sure you guys have seen him play the game before. But if you haven't, you can watch his highlights. He handles the ball. He comes around screens. He's got pick and pop. He's got pull-up jumpers. The guy has the total package at not a very expensive price. He did sign a veteran minimum a couple years ago with the Knicks. I think he'll get paid a little bit more than that with his most recent 2 seasons. But it would be very, very nice for the Sixers to end up with a player like Marcus Morris, especially because he's not only good offensively, he's a great defender, big, physical, works hard, is never going to give up on a play, ends up in some skirmishes once in a while because he's got that attitude, and we love that Philly attitude. I would love Marcus Morris on this team. You guys can let me know what you think about that. If it's possible to bring Marcus Morris in here, if we go over the luxury tax or if we stay under and his contract's cheap enough, I would love Marcus Morris. Next one, I can't say the goddamn guy's name. Gallinari. I'm just gonna stick with Gallinari. Okay, Gallinari. It will be an unrestricted free agent also. Sharpshooter, stretch 4, small ball 5. And in a recent interview, Gallinari was asked by an interviewer, if you enter free agency, what's more important to you? Big money or winning a championship? And he said, winning a championship is the most important thing right now. I'm not 20 anymore. So Gallinari wants to join a team that has championship potential. And before last season, the Sixers were a team that was on that list. I think with the addition of Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey, they're back on that list. What they looked like last season was not anywhere close to that list, and it was becoming scary and fearful that veteran players might not want to come here because the team and the organization looks like a disaster and it looks like there's no hope for it. But now, with Doc Rivers leading the charge, we have more of a championship pedigree. It's looking like this team is going to have more of a winning environment, more of a championship contending environment, and veteran players might want to join that. I mean, you saw the coaches that wanted to join it. The coaching staff that came after Doc Rivers is just unbelievable. So I would expect veteran players to want to play for Doc Rivers. And nobody doesn't want to play with Ben Simmons. I mean, well, besides Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler can't shoot. Anybody that can run the floor and shoot wants to play with Ben Simmons. Catch and shoot all day, wide open shots. Your numbers are going to be through the roof if you're playing with Ben Simmons. So I think Gallinari could be one of those players that wants to go to a contender, and if he doesn't want to hang out where he's at, he could come to the Sixers. I would love that. Davis Bertans. We've talked about Davis Bertans a lot throughout from last season, throughout the offseason. Davis Bertans is a big sharpshooter, can play the stretch 5, could back up Joel Embiid at points, could play next to Joel Embiid since he can stretch the floor. Now, if we're talking about Ben Simmons playing power forward and a point guard running the team, then these big guys, these big stretch 4s and stretch 5s maybe aren't on the radar. We would have more of guards and point guards and shooting guards on our radar if we did that. But if Ben Simmons is staying at the point guard position, or, if it's positionless and Ben Simmons is going to be the main ball handler, then you can pair a stretch four alongside Joel Embiid. And by stretch four, I mean a real stretch four, not Al Horford. All of this is taken with a grain of salt, assuming that the Al Horford contract gets moved. The trade deadline is coming up. Freeze on trades being lifted until determined, but remains likely to happen in November 16th range. So I'm not sure about the trade deadline or when that is, but somewhere in November. It's going to happen before the season starts. So if we can move that Al Horford contract somehow, some way, Davis Bertans would also be a perfect free agent signing for the Sixers. Remember, he murdered us last season. He scored 37 points in one game. He looked like Klay Thompson out there. But that was because our defense was absolutely horrendous under Brett Brown, who's supposed to be a defensive-minded coach. I don't want to go into all the things that don't make sense or didn't make sense last year. But Davis Bertans would be a beautiful addition for this 76ers team. He will probably be overpaid. He's probably one of the most sought-after guys, along with Gallinari, along with Joe Harris. He's probably one of the most sought-after players that can kind of fit on any team. Just a big, sharp-shooting guy that can catch and shoot. He'll probably get overpaid, but it would be very, very nice for us to add Davis Bertans to the roster. And the last one I'm going to go over here is Austin Rivers, because, like I said, if we're moving Ben Simmons to the power forward or keeping him in a power forward-like position as positionless basketball, and we want to run a point guard in the half court, Austin Rivers. Who better than Austin Rivers to back up Ben Simmons at point guard or run the half court point guard system alongside Ben Simmons? Austin Rivers. I'm not just saying that because he's Doc Rivers' son. Austin Rivers is a guy that we can definitely get. He was just on a veteran minimum contract with the Houston Rockets. He said that he wants to opt out of that contract, which would pay him $2.1 million. So he doesn't really have an interest in playing for the Houston Rockets. That's pretty much clear right now. If he wants to go join his pops once again, I think Austin Rivers is a great fit for this team. He can go back and forth with Ben Simmons with controlling the offense. You can move Ben to the 4 in certain situations. He's a shooter. He's a ball handler. I think Austin Rivers would be a great addition. You guys can let me know what you think about that also. Like I said, veteran minimum last year, so he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. I don't know if you get him on a veteran minimum again, but who knows? Maybe he comes here because his dad's here and he liked playing for him, and he feels like he can fit in because we don't have any damn point guards on the roster. Shake Milton, I'm sorry. I'm looking for veterans. I'm looking for guys that have been in the playoffs, guys that have run several different NBA offenses that can move the needle a little bit more than a Shake Milton. Honorable mention, Nerlens Noel. Obviously, that would be with us moving the Al Horford contract yet again. This is what should have happened before they signed that Al Horford contract. If you wanted a backup center, you could have just went and got a backup center. You don't pay a backup center $100 million. You go and get yourself a Nerlens Noel or why'd they let go of Rashawn Holmes, a player like that? That's a backup center. Somebody that's going to play 12 to 15 minutes when Joel Embiid's on the bench and come in, get blocks, catch some alley-oops. You don't pay $100 million for a backup center. It's just stupid. So I really, really, really hope they end up moving that Al Horford contract. And if they do, somebody like Nerlens Noel would be a perfect fit. Now, does he hate the city of Philadelphia? I don't know. Does he hate the Sixers ownership group? I don't know. But I just wanted to throw that in there because that would just be a nice reunion to bring back Nerlens Noel to back up Joel Embiid. Maybe he's a little bit more humbled these days. You remember when Nerlens Noel was on the team, he was mad when Embiid came back because Embiid was starting, and Nerlens Noel said, I need to be on the floor. I'm a starting caliber NBA center. No, you're not. Maybe he's a little more humble these days, and he said, all right, I'm going to come here, back up Joel Embiid, get some minutes, and get paid. Who knows, man? You guys let me know what you think in the comments about all these potential free agents and the Sixers. The NBA schedule coming up, man, it's looking crazy. Yeah, man, give me all your thoughts and opinions in the comments. DJ Eastwood here, run it back. Thank you for listening. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Hit the like button if you like the truth. Hit the dislike button if you like lying to yourself. Peace.